yeah, this will be good. I'm going to have a lovely chat.
I'm really excited. Thanks for the whiskey.
Have you tried it?
I have.
And?
Well, I believe it might be a 12-year. Maybe 18.
Why don't you get some new stuff?
It's not very.
I think we just bought it today. I don't think it's that old. You see what I did there? Like a gag about whiskey and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very funny. How long we got? Ready? Oh, okay, good. Let's get into it. Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Moyles. Thank you for watching. Dave Grohl, Taylor Hawkins,
Hi.
Foo Fighters, in my bedroom, in my suite.
I like what you've done with the place.
Do you like that?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have a portrait of Winston Churchill in here anywhere?
No. I don't want it to be too tacky.
Yeah, they did in the last interview.
Did they? Oh, wow. Now, I've made notes, right? Because I went back and I watched the interview of the first time we ever met. And the first time, well, it wasn't videoed, it was just audio. It was the first time I ever interviewed you, the first time I ever met you. It was 10 years ago. And in those days, I didn't really do interviews. People would come on the show and I would just dick around and we'd just chat, and it was very loose. So
You don't have that show anymore, do you?
no.
But
I've got a new show now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Are you taking it?
It's much
Are you
different.
taking it a little bit more
I'm
seriously?
glad you changed the format. This is great.
Well, no, because there's questions that I want to ask, and so I've made loads of notes and I've gone through a load of stuff. And I know you've done a few interviews today, but I'm hoping that I can bring some stuff up that you've not thought about for a while, or
Make it fresh.
yeah,
Like therapy?
old stuff. Well, if you want, yeah, sure. I don't really know where to start. Obviously, with the new album, Concrete and Gold, which is brilliant.
Thank you.
And I love it.
We've already heard that today.
You've heard that? Okay.
Thank you.
It took a while for me to get into it, I'll be honest. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm just that's not true. I only said that because you said you've heard compliments. Okay, now that's awkward.
Got you.
God.
Yeah. Touche.
So, do you want to quickly tell the story for those of you who don't know? Because I have one specific bit of it I want to jump in on.
The story of how the record came together?
Yeah, like, you know, I know you told it a few times.
Yeah, so the last album, the Sonic Highways record, we toured for a really long time. But while we were making that record, I was in Hawaii and I recognized one of my favorite musicians. There's a band called The Bird and the Bee, and their first album became one of my favorite records of the year.
Right.
I listened to it all the time, every day. And I was at this restaurant in Hawaii and I saw the guy from The Bird and the Bee. So I freaked out and I went up and introduced myself. And I said, "What are you doing here?" And he said, "Oh, I'm on vacation." I said, "What's up with The Bird and the Bee?" He said, "We're going to make another record, but first I have to finish producing Pink and Sia and Beyonce and Adele." And I didn't realize, he doesn't seem like a big pop producer. Right. He's a really understated, mellow guy. He's kind of shy. And we made friends. And so for years, we just talked about music. He's a formerly trained jazz musician that played in rock and punk bands when he was young. And he has this encyclopedic knowledge of jazz and classic rock and punk rock and reggae. And so over a few years, I realized that he's not only one of the biggest producers in the world, but he's a brilliant musician that knows so much about music. And his band, The Bird and the Bee, are one of my favorite bands. They're kind of like this dreamy electro-pop band where they have these Beach Boys harmonies over this really modern production. So I just imagined that making a record with him, where he took his Bird and the Bee sense of harmony and composition and melody and really deep musical knowledge, put it together with our garage noise, it could be like the biggest sounding Foo Fighters record we've ever made. So I asked him, not thinking he would actually do it because he's producing like the One Direction guy and Adele and stuff like that. And he said, absolutely. And he'd never made a hard, heavy rock record before. Right. So it was interesting for both of us to work with a really accomplished pop producer and for him to work with like this noisy garage band. The end.
So
Where do you want to jump in?
So the bit I want to jump in on is Dave goes to the rest of the band and goes, "I found this guy who can produce the next album. He's great. Did you have any idea who he was at all?
Only because Dave had turned me on to the Bird and the Bee.
Right.
So that is the only, and that first Bird and the Bee record is like the Carpenters on acid. It's killer. And so that's the only, and then, I mean, I knew about the Adele single, and,
Right.
you know, I have kids and listen to pop radio and stuff. So, I mean, some of the names that he'd mentioned that he'd done, I'd heard, but I was kind of like, you know, I was like, okay, that'll be trippy. That'll be interesting. But as Dave said, once we kind of sat down with him and started talking to him, we realized that he liked all the same crap that we did when we were kids too.
Because on paper, it shouldn't work because he's done like great, albeit great, pop songs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Adele, and you go back, you know, Pink, and so many pop acts.
Well, one thing that works to his advantage, I think, is the time that he spent studying and playing jazz, because the whole idea with jazz is that you let loose and it becomes, I think that it just becomes like an extension of emotion, and it's really free, and you can get way outside and get crazy.
Yeah.
So he's not really confined to that conventional pop structure or format, you know. He knows how to do it. I mean, that's why I think he is the best producer in the world, because he knows how to get really fucking weird. I mean, we'd have to rein him in sometimes.
Right.
We'd say, let's make this noisy, and he'd just go, I'm like, no. We want it to be
It's too noisy.
Or if you want to do something sweet and melodic and have it be this like cohesive composition, then he could do that as well. So he's just, and he's the most humble, down-to-earth guy. He's not like this bling producer. He's just fucking brilliant. I really think that he's a genius.
Because I'm really interested in talking to bands about working with producers, because you go into a studio, first of all, for
he was
me,
real light-handed.
Huh?
But at first, like he knew that there was a way that our band kind of works.
Right.
Period. So I think he kind of spent the first bit of time just kind of watching our method of the way that we work, and then he slowly sort of kind of found his niche in that and started pulling stuff out that he knew that we wouldn't almost. I don't know if he did it consciously, but it just happened that he kind of let us be the band that we are when it came to setting the basic tracks down, you know, sort of, and that's a pretty raw element, you know. That's just us playing bass guitar and drums, and once he got that, then he would go, okay, then take Dave in there and start doing harmonies and the sounds that he would get were pretty outlandish.
Yeah.
Some of the guitar sounds and stuff were pretty out there. Like the way I put this record is he took the Foo Fighters and like we took a trip out to space to make a record. So because I think it's a very spacey record,
Right.
which I love.
Because you're right, it takes a lot of trust on both sides. Use the band to go, okay, don't fuck with our stuff, but fuck with our stuff, but don't, and likewise.
You also, like, I like working with people that I'm intimidated by.
Right, okay.
Because they're the ones that challenge you the most, and those are the ones you're trying to impress. So whether it's working with someone like Greg or John Paul Jones from Led Zeppelin, or Josh, or there's or Paul McCartney, like you jam with people and you're sort of intimidated by them, so it makes you step up and it makes you sometimes do things that you've never done before because they're really challenging you.
Right. Is it true you were barbecuing as you were recording?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Next question. Are you like the king of barbecues?
Well, in our little world, yeah. So that was one of the things.
Didn't Nate buy you that green egg?
He did. It's a really long story that you might not want to hear. But when we stopped touring for the last record, you're left after being on the road for kind of years and years and years, and then you just sort of sat down on your back porch with nothing to do. You could lose your fucking mind.
Sure.
And so Nate, our bass player, gave me this smoker. It's called a Big Green Egg. And
it's called a what?
It's called a Big Green Egg, and it's this ceramic like smoker. And
for meats.
For meats,
Yeah.
not weed. And so I just started learning how to do it. And it was very therapeutic for me because when you're slow cooking something at a low temperature, if you're doing a brisket, like an 8-pound brisket, that's a good 10 hours out of your day. And
it's like the golf of cooking.
Yeah.
I'm getting that.
It's not an automatic cooker, so you have to actually sit there and sort of manipulate the vents in order to keep that low temperature. And I just sat there for 10 hours at a time watching a temperature gauge. And I got really fucking good at making barbecue for months. I mean, it was like almost a year.
At one point, me and you even talked about finding a cool small dive bar around where we live and turning it into like a rock club.
Great.
And Dave's barbecue. Then we realized that we'd get divorced if we did that, so we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
That's very humble of you. That you.
But at least we had the pub.
Yeah,
they probably let us have the pub.
Yeah.
You should. I think that we should open that place up.
Okay,
Let's do it.
I'm going to be awesome.
You don't even fucking drink. What are you talking about? You
I
can
don't
have a
drink.
pub.
I drink.
What are you
I don't
waiting
drink
for?
spirits.
Yeah.
I drink beer. I'm a
Rules
beer
like
boy.
that make perfect sense.
Listen, do you still drink beer?
Of course.
Okay, I'll drink you under the table any day of the week with beer. That's not a problem. But
What are you doing Wednesday night?
Wednesday night, drinking with you.
We actually have a pub in town right now.
I know. Well, this is it. I was going to.
I haven't been there yet.
Which is crazy, right?
Let's go.
So, in fact, you're right. Don't open
Just
a
don't bring your
smokehouse.
security guard. Don't bring the security guard because the last time we had drinks together,
Yeah.
I was almost taken out by a Navy SEAL.
We've covered that so
I'm just saying. I don't know if
many
anybody.
Was it?
It was him.
Oh,
Yeah.
what a dick.
He had this guy with him. like,
Beat up by your security
Yeah.
guard? No.
he was so afraid of being assassinated
Oh,
that he
no.
would go to a local pub with a Navy SEAL.
Fuck.
So I had a guy with me. so this Taylor, this story gets worse with every
I was
sentence
there,
of it.
but it's
right?
good. I wasn't there. No, I wasn't there, but
So you guys
No, my
played.
mother watched it happen.
So this is the thing. So you guys played in Brighton. We all stayed in Brighton. It was a warm evening. We're outside the hotel having a few cigarettes, having a few drinks.
apparently not that warm.
And Dave sees me and goes, "Oh, there's the guy that from the radio. I'll go and surprise him." Puts his hood up and just goes, "Ugh," comes up. He gets to there. The security guy who I'd known for years, who'd always been with us, literally goes, "Bam!" And he's Dave's
There's
pinned
like
down
a
the
nice
table.
couple having drinks at this table, and I just go whoosh across the thing.
It was bad.
Like, the guy's on my neck.
It was
Yeah,
bad.
so cool.
And then the worst bit of that is when Dave's like, what the fuck? And then calms down really quickly. And he's like, I'm so sorry I met you this morning. I'm so sorry. Didn't know it was you. I just saw a guy just go for Chris. And it's, then Dave comes down. And just when I think we might get out of this, Dave goes, "It's all right, Mom. It's a security." And Dave's mother is there going,
Wow.
"Ah."
She's not a big fan
But
anymore.
that must have been a good day for you, bro.
Oh, man. Just like the worst. But he's good, though. That's all I'm saying.
All
I
right.
gotta say.
All right.
He's very good.
Yeah, he was really good.
So, so the pub, the Foo Fighters Arms.
Yeah.
So how did that come about? You haven't been there yet.
No. You know, one of the great things about our little organization is that it's actually kind of a little organization.
Right.
So when it comes to the animated idea,
Yeah.
that was me saying, "Oh, we should do like an animated thing where I tell the story, and we'll make it." And there's our friends that we make our documentaries with and TV stuff, and then any of the like ridiculous viral video things that you see.
Yeah.
It's basically
There's this little infrastructure.
the
that
two of
they-
us and then like two other people. And so there's this one girl we work with named Kristen Welsh, who's brilliant. She's a genius, and she comes up with all these crazy ideas. And so it's just a matter of like having fun with it, you know? Because I mean, yeah, you could like put a billboard up at a thing and put the thing in the store and go sell a bunch of T-shirts or whatever. But if you have fun with it, especially after being a band for 22 years, it's like we like to kind of fuck with people a little bit.
That's one of the best things about like the internet is, I mean, obviously that sounds silly, but like if Dave comes up with an idea, if someone says we're breaking up last year,
Right.
whatever, and there's big breakup rumors. So we all start texting each other about how funny it is. And then Dave's like, let's all meet down at the studio tonight. We're not even making a record or anything, right? At this point, we're just like kind of off being, you know, it's kind of chilling. And then Dave's had this idea, and you know, you've seen the video, right? The breakup video, and it's really funny, and you can do stuff like that so quickly. And then after Dave did the Sonic Highways and the Sound City thing. It's like we have this little infrastructure of folks that just know how to do this stuff and turn it around really quick, and you can just make these quick little things and throw them out there really quick.
But then there's sometimes, can that be dangerous? Like you're sitting there and you're like...
Well, we're not like blogger people. Like,
No, I don't
There's
mean
a reason
that.
why I don't have a Twitter handle.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
That's sometimes too much.
Right.
But using it artistically and funny,
Sure.
it's great.
But like you're sitting there and you're saying, so where are we playing in Europe? We're playing England, and then you casually go, we should have our own pub. That's a great idea. When you've got an infrastructure of people who do things around you and can create, the next thing is they go, we've got your pub, and you go, what? We have a pub? This was your idea.
Yeah.
Was it? That was so you got to watch what you
I
say.
didn't think that one was our idea, was it?
Well, I think it was probably Kristen's.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's one of the great things. Another one of the great things about working within our organization is if I have an idea like, hey, I want to make a documentary about an old studio. And could you give me Rick Springfield's phone number? And then all of a sudden it actually happens. I have an idea for a documentary series. What if we did this and this and this? You do kind of have to be careful because there are times where if you have a crazy idea, then someone comes back to you and they're like, okay, like the Run video, the video that we did for Run where we're like senior citizens playing in a senior citizen home. That started with Taylor thinking like, it'd be really funny. And then it turns into like this $1 million video.
The next thing is you're sitting in
what's
makeup for 4 hours.
Exactly.
You know
Like,
what's funny
shit.
though? If me and Dave and us, the band, are in a van like for 3 hours, going to the gig or do whatever, and we oftentimes cram into a van together just so we can, talk shit.
Snuggle.
And snuggle, hold each other. There's about 35 ideas.
Right.
And Dave will snap off like 22 ideas. And out of those 150 ideas that kind of pop up over a span of a month or so, that's the one that you see is the one that gets deemed, especially the video things, little video things that we do, the little joke
I'd love
video
to know what
things.
some of the worst ideas are. Some of the
What are some
ones
of
that
the
you've
worst
forgotten.
ideas?
The ones that Taylor goes,
Taylor
no.
and I have an idea for a skit, which is Tommy Lee from Motley Crue meeting Sebastian Bach
For the first time.
from Skid Row for the first time, and they only say 2 words, dude and fuck, for 10 minutes. Fuck!
Dude, fuck. Dude. Dude. Fuck. Dude.
That's got to be.
Can you
You've
imagine?
You've got to do that.
We've got to do that.
You got to do it.
We could actually probably get enough dudes and fucks from both of them off YouTube and just make a compilation without even having to do anything.
Could be a remix.
See, now you've said that, there'll be people working on that
Good. See,
now.
there you go.
And it will be.
Take it. You could have it.
It'll be out.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
But
like
you've
your
gotta-
riff, your riff.
Oh, I had an idea for spareriffs.com, but I don't want to talk about it.
All right, 'cause-
Someone just took it. There
They-
we go.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, spareriffs.com, I had this idea that it would be in between. When you're in the studio and you're recording something,
Yeah.
you're working really hard on what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. You're like, okay, hold on. We got to change something. And let's do another take. And in between takes, you just sort of play and you come up with these riffs that actually could be songs. So I thought you take all of those spare riffs, put them on a website, let everyone have them for free. Here's some spare riffs. You need a verse, you need a chorus, whatever. Come to spareriffs.com, just take the riff, and if you record it or play it live, then record it and send it back to this website so you can hear how different
Right.
people interpret the same riff and how they write a song
I love it.
out of basically, just interchangeable parts. There's riff of the week.
But what if
That's an old one.
What if one of them becomes a number one? You get a piece of that.
My lawyers, you'll be
Yeah,
hearing
that's
from
it.
my
That's the
lawyers.
deal.
Exactly. My fucking riff.
You can take these riffs, you can do what you want, but if it goes to number 1 and sells 1 million copies, we have
Right
it.
here.
Yeah, it's fair.
I think it's very fair.
That's a good idea.
Because if
Yeah,
it
but
doesn't
what's
go to
money, really? I mean,
yeah, it's only money. Who cares? Well, it's good to have it though. Let me talk about the album. There may be a reason for this, or you might just go, I don't know. So I listened to the album came out on Friday, as we record this. Today is Monday, and I had to go to France for the weekend.
I'm sorry.
It was fine.
Oh.
And so I'm driving through France for 2 hours to get to this party. And as I'm driving through the beautiful French countryside, I'm like, I've got to listen to the album. I've got to get the album in my head before we talk. And it's beautiful.
Thank you.
It works a treat when you're driving through France, let me tell you. But here's my first question. Why is what? Yeah. Why is T-shirt so short?
Well, because I wanted there to be an introduction to the record. I mean, honestly, the reason why T-shirt is a song on the album is because the last song on the album, Concrete and Gold, when we recorded that song, I imagined that there would be a choir.
Right.
And I was in the car park of the studio one day, and this guy from Boys to Men comes walking through the parking lot, and I said, we started talking, and I said, hey, do you want to sing on our record? I want to build a choir. And so he said, sure. So he went in and sang this, 24-track vocal, 7-part harmony choir thing that made the song sound gigantic. And it was maybe the second or third song we recorded. And I said, you know what? From here on out, every song has to sound that big.
Right.
And so I thought it would be cool if the album was bookended by these two gigantic sort of choral pieces, like with a choir.
Right.
And so I came up with that lyric and that melody just in my head right after I watched this crazy Donald Trump press conference. And then and I came into the guys and I said, hey, let's record this thing. It's only really a minute and a half, but it'll set up the rest of the record. And then after I recorded it, everyone was like, why isn't that a whole song? Can't we make a whole song out of that?
It's a great track.
But isn't that a great feeling? The chase is better than the catch, isn't it?
Well, I guess.
I've been asked that question a lot, even by like the record company people. Like, why isn't this a big problem? Make a song. I'm like, no.
We all asked it.
Yeah, everyone's asking, Dave.
But I like that. I think that's kind of cool.
I like stuff like that too.
Just the tip.
There's a great song at the end of Soundgarden's record, Down the Upside, called Boot Camp.
Yeah.
Remember that? Mm-hmm. And it's short, and it's like a minute long. I'm like, come on, man. But you know you're going to go buy the next record then.
Case in point.
True.
When you want to make a big record, you have to have an intro.
I'm with you.
I mean, have you ever listened to the beginning of Nothing Shocking by Jane's Addiction?
I'm going to say yes, but no, I haven't.
All right. That has an intro of the beach.
Detroit Rock City? Come on.
Yeah.
Right, it has an intro.
Yeah. It's car driving down the street. Mm-hmm. Radio sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to have a big album? Have a big intro.
Totally.
Okay. It wasn't. I'm not having a go. I'm saying I love
Dr.
it.
Dre's The Chronic. There's probably like a thing. People are into skits now. Maybe it's kind of like our own little skit. People do that.
Sound skit.
Yeah. They put them on records.
So talk to me about who's on the album. Obviously, Foo Fighters.
Taylor,
yeah,
Pat.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Oh, you're in such a spiky mood today.
This is good whiskey.
You spiked him, actually.
Yeah. Note to self, always have whiskey at the...
So the guy from Boys to Men.
His name's Sean.
Sean from Boys to Men.
Let's be nice.
You said the dude from Boys to Men.
Well, he is the dude from Boys to Men.
Okay.
His name's Sean.
All right, so Sean.
Yeah.
And who else is on?
Allison from The Kills.
Right.
Allison Mossart.
Brilliant. Great.
Dear friend. Sounds great. Dave Koz. Probably don't know him. King of smooth jazz radio in America.
Uh-oh.
Family friend. Plays an alto sax.
Beautiful.
He's kind of like Kenny Chi.
You know the song?
Kenny Chi?
Kenny Chi.
Yeah, that's
Kenny
that's
Chi.
what it exactly. My name is Kenny Chi. And Dave Koz on the record.
He actually does sax solo on La Di Da, which we ended up not using because we were like, God, this is just too much. But
There's a lot of sax. We almost called it Sax on the Beach, but we changed our minds at the last minute.
You're all right with sax.
I'm pretty good at it.
We had this conversation recently with
sax?
With saxophones.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sax, drugs, and rock and roll.
Sax, drugs, and rock and roll. Does he have an album
We can do
called
this
that?
all day.
Yeah, I know you could.
Yeah.
He should have an album called Sax, Drugs, and Rock and Roll.
I think it's a great idea. Yeah.
You got to be
Sax,
careful.
Fifth Avenue.
But don't forget what we said earlier. You say these things, you forget. The next thing is,
Next thing,
it'll be out.
Take it. You can have it. Take it. Take it.
Sax, Drugs, and Rock and Roll.
No, I was talking to Liam Gallagher, and he was saying, "Well, it's like you drink, and it affects Taylor. It's weird.
It's like he's drunk, and I'm the one.
That's what I
interview.
mean."
Yeah.
Liam Gallagher was going. They came this close to having saxophone on his album, and he went, "I couldn't do it. I
It's
couldn't do
tough,
it.
man. Like if you put too much salt in that soup, you can't get rid of it. So you gotta like.
He was close.
He was really close.
I mean, we actually considered
finger on the
releasing
button.
them.
Like
we
getting-
actually almost thought about releasing it as a B-side, the original mix.
No, you should.
Like,
See, I don't mind a sax. I like brass and strings on any track works for me.
The thing I liked about it on La Di Da, which we ended up bailing it, and Pat actually did the solo on that. It's just because it was so fucking crazy to hear a saxophone over us playing fucking.
Sure.
And just automatically like in New York City walking down the street.
Totally. It's young Americans.
Yeah. Oh, we want it. Yeah, I want to hear it. Yeah. Oh, you got to get it out somewhere.
I'll make sure to send that to you.
Justin Timberlake's on it.
He is.
How low in the mix is he?
He's not low in the mix, actually. The backup vocal is it's an important part of that section.
La la la. He's really high in the mix.
He's kind of high in the mix. He's singing the la la las, but it's a triple. It's a 3-part harmony that's multi-tracked that might almost sound like it's a keyboard or a guitar or something.
Yeah.
It's going la 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 la. So it's this pulsing weird thing. But he's in there.
Yeah, no, that's a cool. Yeah, I mean, it's.
Did he think you were taking the piss when he said, "Can I sing on the album?" And you went, "Sure." And he goes, "Great. What do you want me to sing?" And you went, "La la la la."
Well,
la,
it's
la.
funny because at that point, basically he said, "Man, I'd love to sing on the record." And we were in the car park, and I said to Greg, I looked at Greg and I said, "Yeah, let's figure out how to do it." We were almost done with the record at that point, and but he said, it doesn't have to be like a big deal or whatever. I just want to like be able to tell my friends that I did it.
Sure, I get it.
So we're like, yeah, sure. And so, I think it was the best way for us to do it, because rather than him like do this like big solo throughout a song or like take a big piece of a song, he just wanted to like be in the mix with the band, and it worked out great. It was really cool. And that section is basically an instrumental section. He's kind of the only vocal in that section.
He's, there's a reason that dude's still around.
He knows what he's doing.
I mean, to break out from, that's almost like a drummer becoming a lead singer.
Well, imagine.
It's like,
what are the
boy
odds?
band dude makes it out into a serious career, drummer becomes the front man.
I can't see that.
So really, and you know what? Those two
it's a
together.
white tiger. What?
You and him together, you guys have similar personalities. They do.
True.
He's cool.
I feel like I'm kind of handsome like him, and I can dance like him.
Yeah,
and
he's got all those traits.
Yeah.
Same traits.
Yeah,
It's like a mirror image.
Yeah,
crazy,
all
isn't
of
it?
our wives think he's hot.
It's amazing.
I know. That was the thing. All of our wives were like, when is he going to be at the studio? Is he coming tomorrow? Do you think we could come? And
We're going to be there. What's wrong with that?
come on, honey, make some cupcakes. Bring them down.
Is Paul McCartney on the album?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
As a drummer.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah. There's a song that Taylor sings. Originally, I was going to play drums on it, but then Paul was coming into town. We thought, well, let's ask Paul, see if he'll do it. He said yes. So we did.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And when he's in there drumming, you're there when he records it? You're in there with him?
We're on.
And he starts drumming?
Yeah.
And he's drumming in front of you two.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's got to be mixed emotions, because it's Paul McCartney drumming for you, which is amazing, and he's brilliant. But as brilliant drummers as you are, is there and be honest, even a tiny bit going, he needs to do that bit again, he was a little bit out.
No.
No, so you said no, Taylor laughed, which I think Taylor's going, yeah.
No, I swear to God. No.
Really,
no.
Taylor? What part should he have done
No,
again?
I didn't.
Tell us.
No, I just thought it was funny, the notion of, I just liked how you were trying to pull that nonsense.
Well, no, I just wondered
He
if...
faded your ass into a corner right there. When he did.
Thanks a lot. No, not
Just
at
say
all.
that.
Because
No,
I know you both wrote...
to be completely honest, I was blown away at the way that he took that song and made it definitely the most un-Foo Fighters sounding track, because he did this smooth freaking like, I don't even know who he sounds like. It sounds like,
Kind of sounds like Paul McCartney.
yeah, there you go. So, yeah, all of a sudden we sounded like the Wings, which is rad.
I have a question. Whenever we answer this question, you don't say Wings, you say the Wings.
Is it just Wings?
I don't know. I
think
think
it
it's
is.
Wings.
I think it's just Wings. Like, we're just Foo Fighters. We're not the Foo Fighters.
I know,
And
but...
I still
But
call
I
it
say the Foo Fighters.
But you know, we were talking about this earlier. Me and Mike were saying
Like how
earlier.
to say it?
The first time I ever interviewed you, for the whole interview, I just said the Foo Fighters, and you never corrected me.
Because
then I see you in interviews, and you go, "But you know what? We're in the Foo Fighters. It's great." And I'm like, he just said it. He just said
And
it.
so when you say Wings or the Wings, There was once we did Saturday Night Live.
Taylor's got a face of, don't leave me alone.
There was once when we did Saturday Night Live,
balls down
and
in
Christopher
there.
Walken was the host.
Amazing.
And he comes up and he's like, he asked us if the accent was on Foo or Fighters. And we know who he is. Like, of course, we know how he speaks. And we said, the accent is on Fighters, actually. So he goes up there.
How did he ask you?
Yeah.
How did he ask you?
I'm not going to say that part. Because he goes up, he's like, ladies and gentlemen, Foo Fighters. Because I knew that's what happened. I was like, don't say, most people say Foo Fighters, but the way Christopher Walken says it, Foo Fighters.
That's great. I've never heard you do that voice before.
Oh, he was good.
See, now I want you to tell me the story of how he asked you.
He just came up and he just asked. He said, the accent, is it on Foo or Fighters? And I said, I think it's on Fighters. He's like, that's what I thought.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so good.
When anybody
Fighters.
impersonates him, I lose it. I really do. But I didn't know that you both do a very good Christopher Walken.
Yes.
Well, I just stole mine from Dave. And you know who was really good at it was that dude on SNL. He was the best.
Oh, yeah.
What's his name?
I don't remember.
Jay Moore.
Look at you two.
He was good.
I love it. All right, let me. Okay, let me wrap up. I want to fire some questions because we've messed around so much. I do have questions for you. Oh, I wanted to ask you: Have you seen the footage that came out the other day of the Freddie Mercury biopic of the guy being Freddie?
No, I haven't.
Have you not seen that yet?
No, I haven't.
It's freaky.
Really?
Do you want to see a little bit? It's very quick.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're making the Freddie Mercury film, which they've been talking about for years.
They're really making it now.
They're really making it. They've got the guy
I'm
in.
so scared. I can't
Rami
wait to see
Malek is, if that's how you say his name, is doing it. Is the guy from Mr. Robot, and he's Freddie. So the only clip that's been leaked is them doing recreating them going on stage at Live Aid. And I would imagine you've seen it quite a few times.
Oh yeah.
But
I based my entire career off it.
so this, if it plays, please play.
Come on.
If not, we'll do an amazing edit.
This is kind of like that dynamo magic trick that he did live at the O2 where he puts the cell phone in the bottle and then you have to call the cell phone, but he wasn't getting good service at the... Oh my God, he does the run.
This is gonna be
Wow.
so freaking weird, man.
But that is exactly because he
It
did.
is,
He ran on
yeah.
with the little kicks and
Little
everything.
kicks.
But look, what I love just as much. There's Brian, obviously. There's Roger. But look at the dude playing John Deacon. Look, it's
Mark Ullman.
John Deacon,
Oh.
It's crazy.
Wow, that's amazing.
isn't it?
Wow.
I just
I'm gonna be like
exciting.
looking at that stuff, going like, "Well, he didn't have those drums
It's
at
going
that
to be
time.
hard for me to enjoy.
He didn't have those kind of cymbals on Live Aid."
Let me run through some really quick stuff with you before we wrap up. Is it true that Dave used to call you Beavis Pitt?
Actually, our manager did.
John Silva.
John Silva did. He's over
Is
there.
that true, John?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Wow, John's voice on the radio. I don't know if that's ever happened.
It's like an exclusive.
It's like seeing Bigfoot.
And and the reason was because you looked a bit like Beavis and Brad Pitt.
I don't know if that's such a good combination. I guess.
Okay. I found when I was putting
think
some
it's the
stuff
opposite.
together. Oh, go on.
Well, you were saying that you look like Brad Pitt, but you act like Beavis. Was that the idea?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a long
I probably
time
look
ago.
a little bit more like Beavis and act like Brad Pitt.
I tried to find some really old interviews and old bits just to see if there was stuff in there which is, lost, such as Beavis Pitt. I also stumbled across Taylor's MTV Cribs,
Yeah.
which is brilliant. It's just so. But first of all, you pull up in the car and you get out. Then Chad Smith gets out next to you, and then you just go around the house, which you'd only just bought.
Yeah.
So it's got little or nothing in it. It's
those are always the best MTV cribs. Like, if you go to the one where the guy's like got his own bowling alley,
jet skis in a mansion, like
you're like, fuck you. But you go to like the bass player from Three Doors Down's house or something.
He's got like Kool-Aid and a piece of fried chicken in the fridge. I like Kool-Aid and that's my fried chicken.
There's a really lovely bit where he goes. Teddy goes, this is the entertainment system, and it's a TV. I don't know when this is, like late 90s, early 2000s, maybe. The TV's about this big, right? It's not, but of course then, that was a big TV. And you're like, I think you say...
so amazed.
He's a simple man. He's a simple man.
I was so amazed that doing what I do could buy me a house. I still couldn't believe it. I was just
right.
So I was like, there's my CDs and my refrigerator. It's amazing. Still amazed.
You also had in the house your parents' old piano.
Yeah, I did. It was fairly out of tune.
Is that gone?
Always. Yeah.
Okay.
It didn't really work.
Huh.
We
pictures and stuff on it.
Yeah, we put pictures and stuff on
do.
it. But then, you know what? It got replaced by another piano that Dave Grohl gave me for my birthday 10 years ago.
Hey, dude, you're so kind. Look at you. You've obviously you've been around for 20 odd years. Everybody's asked all the questions. Can you remember, Taylor, getting the call to be the drummer in Dave's band?
Well, it kind of was two calls. I made the first call to him, and I said that I heard you're looking for... I heard it on the radio. I was in Laguna. I remember hearing it on the radio, and I was like, oh my God. And I had become friends with Dave's old guitar player from Scream, Franz. And I had met Dave a couple times, but this was like kind of before cell phones and everything, where you exchange numbers and all that kind of crap. So I would just see him at an MTV Awards or a music festival out here in England somewhere when I was playing with Alanis. And I loved the first Foo Fighter. I was telling you the other day, I had 3 records that year. I had Supergrass's first record, I had Foo Fighters' first record, and I had Jeff Buckley Grace.
Right.
And that was my, Meeting Chicks record. And the other ones were for rockin'.
Gotta bait the hook.
Yeah.
Got it.
Throw on some Jeff Buckley, man. You know you're going to get some action.
You don't want to put on the Supergrass accidentally.
Some cheese in that track.
Yeah. And so I found out that they needed a drummer, and through listening to the radio, and I called Franz and I said, "Dude, get me Dave's number. I want to be the drummer of the Foo Fighters." And actually, me and Franz were talking about starting to work on a little project or something together. So first he was like, "Oh man, I thought we were gonna do something." I'm like, "Fuck that, give me that number." So I called Dave and I said, "I heard you need a drummer." And he goes, "Yes, do you know any?" True.
Really?
Fucking bastard.
Like being funny or...
No.
Dave.
Taylor was playing with Alanis Morissette, who was selling out stadiums all over the world.
Huge.
I imagined that for him to play drums in the Foo Fighters would be considered a demotion. So they're playing stadiums all over the place. Why the fuck would he want to join our band that was playing the Astoria on a Tuesday night when he's going out and selling out the Shanghai Dome? So that's why I asked if
he knew anyone.
God forbid, or far be it from me, that I would poach someone else's drummer.
So
I poached someone else's drummer.
So what he goes...
So he said that, and I said, "Well, I want to be your fucking drummer." And he's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yes, you motherfucker, you know that." And so he came over with the Color and the Shape the next day. Said, "Here's a new record. Learn a couple tunes." And we just sat and hung out for like an hour at my house. And I think I was already in before I sat on the drums. And I think that's our band anyways. But so I did do the tryout. I played with Dave and Pat. Me and Pat talked about Queen. We just enjoyed hanging around in a room together, all of us. And then
Pat quit the band.
Well, that's for first day. No, first he said, "Well, you're gonna have to jam with Nate. We're gonna jam as a band." So Nate flew down from Seattle. And I don't think Nate wanted me in the band, actually. I don't think he really was like, "This guy, really?" So
the Alanis guy?
Yeah, the Alanis guy, really.
I had to tell everybody, like, trust me.
Yeah.
He's good.
We can we can work with this.
Yeah.
And so I remember I was watching Showgirls with my girlfriend at the time.
Awesome.
In my rented house up in Topanga Canyon, not far from where that Cribs house was.
Yeah.
Dave called me and said, "You want to be in the Foo Fighters?"
Right in the middle of Showgirls.
Right in the middle of the show. Dude, I'm watching Showgirls. Let me call
I'm
you
sure
back.
he was like, yeah, I'll be here. Hold on.
I'll call you back, dude.
Yeah.
It's just about to get to the lesbo
Yeah, sure,
part.
I'll be your drummer. Just
Get
The
into the
lesbo part's
good
on
bit.
right now, dude. Come on.
to the pool scene.
Oh,
So
seen that
yeah,
film for so long.
forever in my mind, I will have the lesbian scenes from Showgirls and the phone call from Dave saying you're in the Foo Fighters linked together.
Wow.
Which is amazing.
Meant to be.
It's slightly
Meant to be.
disturbing.
It's a perfect day, really.
You know?
How could you say no to either of those
It's
things?
a perfect day.
Well, I look forward to recreating that moment one day. Dave's voice with the scene from Showgirls.
You know, I could recreate
Oh, we
that
could
with you.
recreate that.
Well,
We could
let's
make
do
that
that.
like the Queen movie.
Let's go to
Kicking your
Hawaii.
feet up at the end as you
Make our own
With
documentary.
me in a
about
pool
it.
garden.
Oh wow! Listen, don't have any more of this. It's obviously really strong
I feel
stuff.
like it did really. I think it did the interview well.
Straight now, Dave wants to do
Yeah.
10 more interviews.
Exactly. Please, Adam, give me some more press.
Get some people in here now.
More press now.
Thank you for coming in. I have one more request, or one request, if I may be so bold. So today,
Oh, maybe so bold. I love that. It's like the guy from the
I had what felt like a beautiful midlife crisis moment. I went to a guitar
pass
shop and bought my first guitar ever
Today?
today,
Whoa.
and I
I thought
thought,
you were going to say you went to a massage parlor or something, but
no, this is something I did for the first time. So, thank you.
Gotcha.
I'm here all week.
Yeah, he
Don't
got
forget the waitresses. So, if I get it out because I brought it, would you be? If I promise to at least try to learn it, would you sign it for me?
Yes. Only half a signature. So that next time you come back, you have to play us an entire song and sing.
Oh,
And we'll finish the
we
signature.
want to see that you've. You know,
Yeah.
But
Do you have kids? You don't just give them everything they want,
Yeah.
right?
well,
You gotta make 'em-
I don't have kids.
Okay, well then you gotta make them work for us. For it. What did I just say?
It's something that I think you said
Make
yes,
'em
you
work
will.
for us.
But Taylor made a face. You went, nah.
Isn't that well? I agree with Dave. When I sent them in as with Dave completely. I just think that you should only get half a signature until you show us that you're showing really interest.
Yeah, show
some
some
real
sign.
interest.
What
in
if I
the-
knew
in the
that? I'd have
instrument.
only listened to half the fucking
You don't
album.
just go out and spend your money on stuff and not use it. And I sign it. Oh, I play guitar with the Foo Fighters.
No, I'm not going to pretend.
You understand where we're coming from. We just want the best.
I'm
for
lost.
You.
I don't really understand.
All right,
what
well,
you're
the
saying.
truth of it was I was just going to get to sign it and I was going to hang it on the wall in my man cave, but I thought it was a better question if I promise to
Okay,
learn to
we'll
play
sign
it, will you sign it?
We'll sign it.
Ah, go fuck yourself.
Why not?
Ladies and gentlemen, please get the album from Foo Fighters, or as Dave calls it, the Foo Fighters.
No, I don't.
Oh, you just did.
Fighters.
Thanks, man.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, I did that. You went like
Yeah,
that. It was
he's
very
germaphobe.
awkward.
He doesn't shake.
I'm so
Very
white
LA.
it hurts.
How about a coconut water?
Thank you for watching. Good night, everybody. Would you sign my guitar, please?
Yeah.
I love it. I want you to like it though.
Well, your guitar is it?
Well, you're gonna. I want you to see if you know what it is. Yeah, let's jump in. Let's just mind your head.
Mind your head.
Sit down or sit up.
I mean, you do look smaller than them, but
I don't care. I'm sure. But watch this.
thank you.
Look, here it is. Look.
I've got a nav from quickly, I'm afraid. So that's a little.
That's kind of a fancy pants guitar.
Yeah.
This was not cheap.
No.
It doesn't have kids.
It's a. You're absolutely. But I have a very expensive girlfriend.
That's a fucking
Spend money
nice
on guitars.
So it's a 1970s Japan Epiphone acoustic.
That's really cool, actually. Pat Smith.
You really want us to sign this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Front or back?
Oh, the signing. No, the front, of course.
There's been a song
Thank you.
that we've never finished.
I know. That was something we worked on a bunch of times.
So you're
almost
giving.
been on like 3 or 4 records. Right
So you're
there.
giving me a song to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Spare ribs.
Spare ribs. Spare ribs.
I just said.
Spare ribs.
That'll be
Ribs and spare ribs.
Thank you, man.
That's
That's a fucking night. You sure?
Yeah, because I thought, look, if I'm gonna get one, I don't want like a piece of
Where'd you get it?
shit.
Did you get it?
Yeah,
So like Guitar Alley in Denmark Street, just so all the guitar
Did you
shops.
go to Regent?
Huh?
Did you go to Regent?
No, I went to like Wojo
Oh, yeah.
Music or something. It's the one right in the corner.
Yeah.
But I checked, and what do you believe? So get this. I buy it, I go in, I ask for it, they have one, which I'd seen online, which is this.
Right.
I tell him that look, I don't play, but I want to get it. He goes, okay, great. It's really nice. As I'm buying it, a guy walks in behind me, wants to buy the same one. I just beat him. And they hit that's the only one they
Like
had.
$5.
What?
How much was it? $3,000.
That's a great part.
As you started playing high, but thanks, man.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Radio X.